Well, Halloween can be a very scary day, and not because of the ghosts, the witches, and the goblins. There's a lot of safety concerns that parents need to think about when it comes to the parties, the trick-or-treating, and even the costumes.
That's right. Parenting expert Erika Katz is here to talk about how our kids can stay safe on Halloween. And I don't think people forget about it, but we get so excited about the costumes and the candy. It's really good to touch on this. Do you have an age that you think, and I know there's no hard and fast rule, kids can go out alone at versus when they should be with an adult trick-or-treating?
It's a tough question because it depends where you live. So if you live in a suburban neighborhood and you know all the people in your area, it can probably be a little bit younger, whereas if you're in a very rural area, I don't think it's really appropriate at all. You really want to make sure your kids are supervised. And then if you live in an apartment building, I think when they're 11, 12, it's okay for them to go up and down, and hopefully it'll be okay. But, you know, it's really the comfort zone of the parents, and if you think the area is going to be safe.
What do you think about kids that are going out unchaperoned? What would your tips be for parents?
Well, I have this problem, too, because my son is 12, so, of course, he wants to be unchaperoned, and in certain places it's okay, in certain places it's not. So I would say for parents, if they're unchaperoned, make sure if they're going to be outside that they have a bright stripe or something on them so that cars can see them, because it's dark out. Again, you want to map it out. You want to make sure you know where they're going to go, where it's okay for them to go, and then that would be appropriate. There's a lot of different things that are hard on Halloween because, you know, you might know the people whose houses they're going to, but then if you don't, it's a little tricky. So you always want to tell them to stay a little farther back from the door. You don't want to go in somebody's house if they say, come see the haunted house. You just don't know, and unfortunately, it's scary, and you don't know where they're going.
But I think that's a good rule of thumb. You just don't go inside. The treats are on the outside, or you don't go inside. Some common sense things, swords, knives. I'm sending a little Jedi out for Halloween this year. So his lightsaber, they should be, you got to take them into consideration. Soft.
Right. You don't want anything too hard that they can hit somebody with.
Right.
That would be a common sense thing there. And if they're wearing a mask, make sure they can breathe in it and that they can see in it. If your daughter's going to wear something like I'm wearing, maybe you don't want her wearing high heels because she's going to be walking around a lot. You want her to be comfortable. And if for some reason she gets into an unsafe situation, you want her to be able to run away. So you want to make sure she's not wearing really high heels.
Okay. Yeah. And you want to let them know what they should do in case there is an emergency. You don't want to scare the kids, but you also want to let them know, because this is a day where a lot of people will take advantage of certain situations.
Yeah. Well, first of all, if they're at a party, if they see any drugs or alcohol, if they're older, they really need to call you and they need to leave, because if the police come and they're arrested, everybody gets arrested, even if you're not drinking, and I don't think kids realize that. Another thing is people think it's fun to egg a house, graffiti. Vandalism is an absolute no-no. And if you're with kids that are vandalizing, even if you're not, nobody's going to say, oh, you're the good one. You might get caught up in that pack, so you have to tell them to call you. And I think it's important to ask your kids for their friends' cell phone numbers. That way, if you can't reach them, you could reach one of their friends. Also, the parents have to talk with each other, and they have to say, okay, where are our kids going to go? Where are they going to be? Parents have to bond together and make a safe plan where everybody's comfortable, that the kids are going to have a great time, but also be safe.
Yeah, and it really does boil down to that kind of communication. Yeah,
it makes
a difference. The kid says, I'm going to Steve's house, you need to talk to Steve's parents and know that that's where they're going.
Right, and you have to give them a curfew if they're going to a party. I think Halloween, we're on a school night. Most kids have school the next day. So I would encourage you to give them a curfew. It's perfectly appropriate.
Thank you so much, Erika. Good to have you back.
Good stuff.
Appreciate
Some common sense
I know.
to keep them all safe.